welcome Ruby Soho!
Whoa, Ruby Soho! Ruby Soho making her AEW debut!
You're listening to Talk AEW, the official wrestling podcast of GoombaStomp.com. I'm your host, Mariko McDonald, and I'm here to talk about All Out 2021 with my co-hosts, Mr. Aaron Santos.
Hello, WrestleManiacs.
And the editor-in-chief of GoombaStomp.com and TiltMagazine.net, the ravishing Ricky Rabies.
Ooh, we're still doing Ricky Rabies. Everyone watch heels so you understand what that means. Hello, Mariko. Hello, Aaron. I'm super excited. One of the greatest pay-per-view events of all time. Maybe not the greatest, but one of the greatest. We'll talk about it.
We absolutely will, but to start off, I think we're going to do things a little differently. We don't have any questions today. We're just going to talk about the ups and the downs, starting with the downs.
Yes, because we're not reviewing Dynamite nor Rampage, we will have a different format. We only ask Ricky's rapid-fire questions when we review the weekly TV shows.
So the thing is, guys, I have a feeling this is actually going to be kind of a short segment.
Really? I don't think so.
Can we just maybe get? I don't know. I want to start this off. My big down would probably be like the Paul White and QT Marshall match.
You see, I disagree. That's your big low?
It would probably be the lowest for me.
So we're starting negative, so we have to be very clear what exactly we are doing here. Is this things we're disappointed in, things we thought were really bad, or just sort of like how are we going to define this?
I would just say with the pace of the entire evening, I felt like the Paul White. I'm not saying it's the worst match. I'm just saying what like every. I'll put this like in an asterisk, right? Like the whole show was great. The Paul White placement, the timing of it was great. It's just that
it felt like a match that you could watch on Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly.
That said,
yeah,
the placement of it made it work and made the pay-per-view work better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but if I'm going to compare it, to compare it to the rest of the matches, like it's probably the lowest. Not totally negative.
That's why I don't think it's a negative, because I think they needed this match. I think the pay-per-view benefited from this match, Aaron. Mm-hmm. They needed to put this match between CM Punk, Darby Allin, and the main event. It was a palate cleanser. Last night, I actually stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning, and I wrote a list of the 18 best moments of AEW All Out 2021, and I purposely put that on the list, knowing people would freak out, because I think it was done purposely. It was strategic. And I think it's what the pay-per-view needed. Mm-hmm. I actually don't think that's a negative. I mean, look, it's your opinion, and I totally respect that. I just see it as this was the match they needed, especially if someone wanted to go to the washroom. No offense to Paul White, but, get some drinks, have a quick and easy, simple match. Nothing too fancy. He got the job done. His first time back in the ring, and I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a nice little feel-good kind of fan servicey moment to space things out. I know while we were watching it, we're all like, "Are they still doing this match? Like, we're almost at the championship. Like, what's happening? Where's this match?" Mm-hmm. But then when you sit back and think about the match as a whole, it really benefited from having that little squash match.
Well, the reason why I reached out to you and I asked, is this match still happening? Is because according to Wikipedia, everything was in order except this match. They actually moved the match up in between the Darby and CM Punk match and the main event. It was supposed to be before the CM Punk match. Ooh. But, since we're talking about our downs or negatives and we're talking about pacing, you see, I actually think, and I know this is going to be unpopular, but my opinion is that the CM Punk Darby Allin match was way too late in the pay-per-view, because much like the Kenny Omega Christian Cage match, which by the way I thought was great, it was a little bit more slow paced compared to, say, the tag team titles. or even like the Battle Royale moved like so fast. And I thought it would have benefited the pay-per-view if the CM Punk Darby Allin match was just an hour earlier or half an hour earlier.
I almost would have traded that one with the Moxley Kojima match. And here's my reasoning on that one, because it's going to come up as one of my highlights. But again, talking about flow and placement, the way that match was placed after what I said while it was happening was a better version of what I thought the Moxley Kojima match was going to be. Juxtaposed against each other. I would have given them a little more room because they were so similar.
I think that was a little too early in the card. What I would have done was I would have swapped it with Chris Jericho and MJF, which was the match prior. But the reason being is because that match had the big, huge like swerve at the end and had the swerve at the start. The pacing was a little bit different. I think like the thing about the CM Punk Darby Allin match is that it was his first time back. So I think it's smart for CM Punk not to do too many crazy things and, like play it safe to some extent.
Yeah.
But everybody knew CM Punk was going to win. So there wasn't much suspense and it was very slow paced.
In places, I really like the back and forth of this. I can understand why people would say that it was slow paced, but to me, it felt more deliberate than slow.
Yeah.
Because of how explosive Darby is. The big question is, okay, can CM Punk keep up? He could in those bursts. But he also would choose to slow things down, which, wily veteran move and all that. And just like the psychology of the match was perfect. Like it was slow down when it needed to be slowed down. Yeah. And it was like go, go, go when it needed to be go, go, go. I was just in awe. I was really just struck by how well constructed that match was.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So wait, I thought we were on the negatives right now, because the reason why I mentioned the CM Punk Darby Allin match is because I have sort of like a nitpick with this match.
Well, yeah, you're saying the negatives and I'm defending it.
Because I feel like it should have gone a little earlier, because I felt like this is a long pay-per-view. The crowd was super hype, and I think that the crowd was slowly losing the energy towards the end of the event.
I don't think so.
I think so. Like, I mean, come on. I was like, at times, I was like, my God, this is like really stressful. I'm sweating bullets. Like, it was an amazing pay-per-view event. It took a lot of energy to watch this. And I mean that in the best way possible. But the thing with the CM Punk Darby Allin match is CM Punk played it like a heel, but there's no way he went in as a heel because he's in Chicago. I was trying to figure this out. I'm like, what is wrong with CM Punk? What is it that I don't exactly like about him right now in 2021? Because his introduction in Rampage was incredible. I watched it like 5, 6, 7 times. But then he appeared on like Dark, and he appeared on Dynamite, and he cut a promo. And I was like, okay, this is cool, but something's not right. And I realized I just don't like this Mr. Positivity. Mr. Let's walk into the ring and give a hug to everyone. Like, that's not an interesting CM Punk for me. What made CM Punk interesting was when he was sort of like, not necessarily the villain, but the guy who didn't really side with anyone, the guy who was an outcast and a loner.
Well, because he was an outcast. He was an outcast in WWE. Yes.
Yes. But all I'm saying is, okay, look, I know he just stepped back into the ring. All I'm saying is I hope slowly, long-term storytelling, this transitions into him not being friends with everyone. Because I don't think it's interesting to see CM Punk in the ring, shaking hands with Jungle Boy, giving a hug to Luchasaurus, shaking hands with Sting, complimenting everyone. It's not interesting. Like, that's not what's interesting about wrestling. But I'm saying right now, I'm not saying it's awful. I'm just saying I'm trying to figure out why I don't like CM Punk as much as I did, back in the WWE days. And that's why. He's a completely different person.
Well, you wanted disgruntled and fed up CM Punk?
No, but like, look, when Christian Cage showed up for the first time, everyone shat on his like introduction, right? But when he showed up, that very first episode of Dynamite, he made a statement. He's like, I'm chasing after that championship belt, and he went head to head, toe to toe with Kenny Omega, and eventually he got his championship belt. With CM Punk, and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, it was kind of smart, and I think Darby Allin was the right move, like the right opponent. But it doesn't make for interesting storytelling because there wasn't really a story to tell. It's just like, hey, I'm back. I'm a nice guy. Let me fight you, and let me give a hug to everyone.
Well, I mean, just to defend CM Punk, like it's just it's still too soon for CM Punk to really like still develop anything, right? I mean, the guy is still fresh from his first appearance, still fresh from his first fight. He said it himself when he did his first promo. He's like, well, I guess we're going to be winging it because I don't think he has any idea what he wanted to do when he came back. And to be honest, if I stepped away,
I'm hanging on to the tease of he keeps talking about how he wants to wrestle the Young Bucks, but he needs a tag team partner.
Mm.
And even on the Rene Paquette podcast, he even seemed to be joking that he would want to team up with Bryan Danielson. So that could be something that could be really fun. I don't know.
Why not?
I know when you say something negative towards CM Punk, all of a sudden the internet explodes and you're like the bad guy. But look, I don't want to be one of those fan podcasts where we only say positive things. Like if CM Punk wants the criticism, if he wants the feedback, I'm giving him the feedback, okay, that he asked for. The bottom line is this match was great because Darby Allin was great. CM Punk is great. There was a lot of great spots, especially when Darby dived out of the ring, when he did the Swanton bomb out of the ring, when he did the coffin drop and CM Punk faked it and he just like sort of like sat up and he missed a coffin drop.
Yeah.
Things like that I loved. But the bottom line is, let's be honest, like out of all the matches on this card, what made it exciting was it was his first time back in 7 years, but there was no story to tell, really, not much. There was no suspense.
No, of course not. I mean, the only suspense
fan
was
service.
It
only wanted to be fan service. It only needed to be fan service, and we were served.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it was. It was fan service. It was just CM Punk coming back.
We'll get to grouchy Phil and Phil being mean to other people. Like, we'll get there. But, you know, this was not that moment. This is the feel good and everybody's coming together and being best friends. And, you know, for one night, like, let us just have it.
For sure. I mean, like, I'm sure we're gonna get CM Punk being a smartass down the road. Like once he gets more comfortable with the roster, once he gets more comfortable with the show, I'm sure we'll see him back as a smartass, you know, talking shit to everybody.
And I can't wait because, again, I don't need him to be a heel. I just don't need him to go around being Mr. Nice Guy. And he played the match like a heel, which I really liked, even though everyone was cheering him on. It was interesting to say the least. But look, this is like minor nitpicks in a segment where we're trying to be negative.
Yeah.
I know. We're really stretching for things to try to be negative about. Let's be honest.
Should I go next, or does anyone else want to be negative? Because I have one more thing to complain about.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I love Ruby Soho. I love the fact that she, and again, I put this on my list of like greatest moments. Her appearance at the Women's Royal Rumble, Battle Royale, which we all knew would happen. She shows up. She's got the theme song. She's got the killer jacket. She has a big smile on her face. She's over like the second she shows up. She gets in a ring. And then she lasts till the very end with Thunder Rosa, but I don't think she should have won the Women's Battle Royale, because what does this mean? So now Ruby Soho is going to wrestle Britt Baker and most likely lose in her first or second match in the company? That's weird.
Well, did they announce the match for this Wednesday already?
No, but usually when you win the Battle Royale, you get a match like right away. Like look at Brian Cage, look at Jungle Boy, for example.
What I would like first of all, I'm gonna say I think Ruby Soho should have won that Casino Royale.
100% agree.
Yeah, because for her like talking to her like as a wrestler and everything that she's done in WWE, I feel like her coming to AEW and being that winner in Casino, she fucking deserves it.
Yeah,
deserves it because
she might be new to the company, but she's not new to the business, and she's earned this shot. She earned having those people chanting her name, and she earned a shot at that championship.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Well, what if now she loses to Britt Baker so quick.
It's 100% possible she's going to. I still think that Thunder Rosa is the one to win the belt off of Britt Baker.
Yeah.
If anything, like, it's just Ruby Soho is just, sort of like the next.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can lose a match and still look strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, AEW is very good at their booking for this specific situation. Her losing isn't going to be the end of her career or her push in AEW. It's going to be the legitimization of Ruby Soho as a true championship contender.
Yeah, 100%.
We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out, but I do think it's an interesting choice because she will face Britt Baker and she will lose because Britt Baker is just like gold and they're not going to take the belt away from her. So
no, because like I just said, like, I think the end game is Thunder Rosa beating Britt Baker for the title, but still, I mean, it's a great step forward for Ruby Soho, like, coming into AEW. That's for sure.
Well, we've talked about this week in, week out. They don't do rematches very often. Usually they space them out. So in a way, I wasn't expecting Thunder Rosa to win because she had the great match with Britt Baker not too long ago. But if you remember correctly, in the last episode, I said Anna Jay should and would win, and I was wrong.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if Anna Jay's 100%. I wouldn't have put her in that position coming back from major surgery.
Yeah, I know. Like, you can still see, like, she still used, like, kinesis tape on her shoulder. So, like, we don't know what percentage or
if she's 100% ring ready. I mean, she's well enough to do a battle royale, but I mean.
So I think that's about it. I don't really think that there's anything else I can really complain about. If I could change back time and have some control, I would move CM Punk's match earlier in the night, and I would for sure think about if I really want Ruby Soho to win the women's battle royale.
And the way they ended it too, with her and Thunder Rosa, who was most people's favorites, I think was another way of super legitimizing Ruby Soho right out the gate, as she deserves.
Yeah, it was I'm not a big fan of the match, like the format. Like, I don't understand how it creates any sort of like suspense.
The 4 people out at a time is just really confusing.
Yeah.
Like, do they give us information as to who is who? Like, who's got what card?
No.
So it doesn't make any sense.
I know, and the reveal is so random. It's like, hearts, like, that means nothing to us. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's so odd. Is it because it's a trademark that only WWE can have each person come out individually? Like, I find that hard to believe, like, in terms of like the actual format of a battle royale.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think so.
No? Sorry, not a battle royale, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they own the Royal Rumble. As far as like staggering opponents, I feel like I've seen that elsewhere, but maybe not. Like the whole casino format, it kind of made sense in Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
But now that they're using it in other pay-per-views and like sticking to this whole casino thing so tightly, like, it's just, it had its moment. We're past the novelty now. It's just confusing.
Like, I was just gonna say, like, the only fun point of this Casino Royale and the whole idea of suits is really just like who's the Joker, you know?
Yeah, and we figured that out. The other thing is that now that like the women's roster is so deep, before it was just like, oh, well, just like, we don't care who the hearts are because it's just going to be 4 random women. But now that we know who everybody is, it's like, okay, so the hearts are coming. Who's that? Why?
I mean, it's a problem I have with the pay-per-view event, but it's a problem I have with the actual match in itself, which stretches beyond just the pay-per-view event. It's something AEW has done before in the past and will continue to do.
Yeah,
I like the Joker though.
Yeah,
I like that too. Yeah, it just gets really confusing when you get like hearts and then just like a series of theme songs and then everybody's in the ring and then half the people are already out of the ring and they're like, wait, the people still are coming out. Whose song is this? What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, like, if there's a better way to like introduce these wrestlers, or like just have, I guess, like a more cleaner way of introducing the wrestlers, I guess it I don't know. Maybe just something for them to figure out later in the future.
Yeah, or just even just something with the graphics when they put the hearts up, so we know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, something like that.
Okay, so I guess no one else has anything negative to say about the pay-per-view event. You guys are just going to make me be the bad guy once again. I'm the heel on the podcast.
I guess so.
Okay, but you know what we love? We love this pay-per-view event. We love AEW, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we love pretty much everything about wrestling to some extent. But you know what else we love? We love cats. I think we all have cats.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think Mariko, you have like 2 cats.
I've got 2 cats.
Aaron, you got 1 cat.
I got 1 cat.
I got 5 cats.
You have 5 cats. Yes.
But does anyone here have a gray cat?
I do.
You do. You know what else I love? I love sponsors. Maybe you could tell us about our sponsor.
Of course. We are actually sponsored today by Grey Cat Apothecary. Natural, organic soaps and skincare handmade in the heart of Montreal. GreyCatApothecary.com. That's Grey, Grey.
First of all, it's great to have a sponsor, but I actually use the soap and I was blown away. I'm not even lying, like blown away. Like, this soap made my skin look better than it's looked in like maybe 20 years. So especially if you have sensitive skin, if you have acne, if you have any sort of like skin problem, I highly, highly recommend checking out this website. And yeah, natural soap, much better than buying your pharmacy soap. Like, no offense to Irish Spring or anything, but highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah. All offense. It's
yeah.
It's detergents and fragrance. It's not really soap.
So once again, can you just read out the website?
Of course. It's Grey Cat Apothecary, GreyCatApothery.com. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the good stuff.
Oh, no! Cole just took out Jungle Boy. Why would he kick Jungle Boy? Oh, I don't believe what I'm seeing. There are your answers, Tony. This is astonishing. What a turn of events.
In the words of the almighty Steve Urkel, did I do that? You really believed me, didn't you? You really thought I was scared? This guy's one of our best friends. Tell him, Adam.
Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? Boys and girls, it's official. The Elite is the most dominant faction in the history of this business. And ain't no chance in hell anyone's gonna stop us.
And we're back on Talk AEW, discussing All Out 2021, the good, the bad, the ugly. So we took some time at the top to talk about the negatives. There weren't very many. And now we're just going to gush for about 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, where do you want to start?
I'm going to start with something simple. It's on my list. It's the Darby Allin video package, because I always love his video package. I love his creative team. I like the black and white cinematography. I especially like the music. The dude's in a helicopter. He's got this crazy ass body bag with pink spray paint. And did you notice how it's all black and white except for the letters, which are colored in sort of like a neon pink, which I thought was a nice touch. And then Darby jumps out of the helicopter.
Yeah, into God knows where.
Exactly. And it had the quote from Earl Nightingale at the opening.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we over the past year doing this podcast, we've talked about the production team, the production values, the video packages, the cinematography, the lighting, all of that jazz, and it's improved so much that now we are getting video packages that are up there in quality, just like the WWE video packages, only with far less of a budget, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
God damn it!
I really didn't know how to follow that up, but I'm like, yep, it's really good.
Are you guys making fun of me, or did you not like it?
No, it was great. It was. Okay. I thought okay. So in all seriousness,
because I wanted to start simple. I mean, there's a lot of things we need to talk about. There's a lot of big things that we need to talk about. But I figured before we get into the big things, I feel like this would be lost in a shuffle. These little things that I want to talk about first before we get to
Yeah, I mean, credit to Darby Allin and the production team. I'm like, it's he always comes up with cool promos. I mean, it was just funny. For some reason, I just found it funny. I'm like, oh, he's in a helicopter now. So I don't know.
Yeah, and last week I said that the buy-in matches are always a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, we hadn't even touched on this.
I thought the buy-in match was a blast.
It was super fun. It just felt like a cavalcade at your favorite indie show.
Yeah.
It was house show madness. It was fan service, ludicrous spots. It was a centipede of submission holds broken up by Luchasaurus battering everyone like so many bowling balls and playing chicken on the shoulders of other wrestlers. Ugh.
Oh my god.
So much fun.
That spot when Jungle Boy was on top of Luchasaurus' shoulders and he ducks, moves out of the way, and then after
did the Matrix off of his shoulders. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Let's see. Other highlights for me. Well, obviously Ruby Soho's entrance, even though we all knew she was the Joker, to the point where they said Joker and people just started chanting her name, and then when she came out and her face of just what me, you're cheering for me, what was just so heartwarming and genuine.
She's on my list of best moments, and I think it's because of her entrance. The fact that she seemed so happy, she had that smile.
She was really taken aback, I think, and it's in the best way.
Well, because
even though we knew she was coming, we didn't know, for example, would she have the song from Rancid? We assumed she would, but there was no 100% guarantee. Even her jacket, the little touches, just made it all the more better.
Destination AEW.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because it was such a heartwarming moment for her to just see her expression, looking at those fans and just soaking it in, right? Because
so many years at another company,
exactly,
and never have anyone chanting your name,
exactly,
and it's day one and you haven't even wrestled yet. Amazing. So happy for her.
Yeah, exactly. That's certainly one of the most I was happy, because I was following her in SmackDown and everything else. It was just I mean, she was just stuck in this loophole of crap. I don't know. So I'm just so happy for her.
There was 4 big first time appearances. Before we get to the big 2, Aaron, what did you think of Suzuki making an appearance after the Jon Moxley match?
Minoru Suzuki? I thought it was okay. It was a great moment for Minoru Suzuki to come out. It's just that I just don't understand why we're going through this, list of NJP. I mean, granted, they're NJPW legends, Minoru Suzuki, Kojima, great legends. I just don't know where this is going.
Jon Moxley just needs to slap the shit out of every Japanese wrestler over 50. He's on some kind of bucket list mission.
But
no, I mean, they've slapped the shit out of each other before, and I super freaking hard for this guy. My husband, who has no idea who he was instantly intrigued. He was basically this guy looks like a Yakuza character, from the game show, and I was yes, because he was the character model for that character.
I mean, like Minoru Suzuki, like, so he's a fun wrestler to watch. Again, like you said, they're just gonna slap the shit out of each other. He's certainly a really hardcore fighter when it comes to that. Like,
he's like one of the most popular, if not the most popular, right now in New Japan.
Dude, he got a big pop in that Chicago crowd too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to show up. Like when they announced, like, oh, Suzuki next. Okay, that'll be. Oh, there he is. What?
I can't believe the Chicago crowd knew how to sing his song.
Dude,
that was fantastic. And then JR almost talking over it, and like everyone just imagining like Excalibur just like tackling JR to make him shut up. Like, no, you don't ruin this part.
Okay, but riddle me this, Aaron. Where was the championship belt?
The championship belt.
Yeah. Like what's going on with the championship belt right now? Lance Archer has it?
Yep, he does. He still
has... I don't remember seeing Lance Archer anytime within the last 3 weeks with the belt.
Yeah, because he's defending it in NJPW.
I'm not going to be angry if Jon Moxley wants to fight Suzuki in his hometown, because they're going to be at Cincinnati on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, look, it got a huge pop from the crowd. I was just kind of like shocked that the crowd knew how to sing his theme song. Like, not just one person. Like, in fact, they did a better job singing his song than the Chris Jericho song.
Yeah, these are New Japan fans. These are wrestling nerds.
Mm-hmm. Plus, like a lot of the new people that follow New Japan is one of the reasons why they came to AEW. So you would expect them to know all of these wrestlers.
The one thing I'm going to say, since we're still sort of on the Jon Moxley Kojima match, I should have actually almost put it in a negative. Only because Miro versus Eddie Kingston was the hard-hitting slap fest that I assumed that this was going to be.
Yep.
And like, it was good, but Miro versus Eddie Kingston was a goddamned war.
Dude.
Yeah. Holy smokes. I was blown away. So physical, so hard, so stiff.
This is why I actually didn't mind the Jon Moxley Kojima match, because once again, it felt like a palate cleanser. It was kind of like, let's just have this very simple match between the women's championship match and the TNT championship match. The Miro Eddie Kingston match was the best way to open up the show. You always want a big
unbelievable. I did not know what to expect. I thought it was going to be good. I did not expect a 5-alarm fire.
I feel like a total asshole because right before the pay-per-view event, I put up the updated list of the 50 best AEW wrestlers on our website, right? We did it last year, did it again this year. And I wanted to put Eddie Kingston in the list. And it just goes to show how much talent AEW has. That 50 slots wasn't enough for me to fit all of my favorite wrestlers. So I had to make some sacrifices. And one of the sacrifices was Eddie Kingston. And I got to tell you, if I made the list today, this morning, Eddie Kingston would be on the list.
That's the thing with Eddie Kingston is he isn't the strongest technical guy. It's easy to overlook him on that. But he does have technical skills. Absolutely. Yeah, he's a very easy guy to dismiss, like on a straight up wrestling skills level. But I mean, we saw a totally different side of Eddie Kingston. We even saw kind of a different side of Miro being really pushed by an opponent. I was just such a good match, such a great start to such an exciting pay-per-view. As you can tell, I'm still wound up.
The reason why I didn't put Miro on the list wasn't because I didn't think that Miro was a great wrestler, have charisma. It's because it's based on a bunch of different factors, including the matches he's had. And most of the matches he's had over the past year have been tag team matches.
Yeah, there
or a squash match. And so the roster is so deep, guys. It's so incredible that 50 slots, and I had trouble fitting everyone in. But again, had I seen this match and then made a list, he would be on the list.
I just want to say, like, I want Eddie Kingston shirt. Redeem these nuts. Yeah, I totally want that. But
I don't know if you saw Twitter. I guess it was either today or last night. Miro was tweeting.
Yeah.
I have redeemed these nuts. Yeah. And then CJ offering to redeem his nuts. Yeah. It was
Oh my gosh.
But again, the great way I think to start the pay-per-view event in terms of like the pacing, having that fantastic match, slowing things down with Kojima and Moxley, but then surprising everyone with the big appearance from
Minoru Suzuki.
Suzuki. And then you get to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and the crowd goes nuts.
I mean, can I just say, like, is not only was this a really good match between Dr. Britt Baker and Chris Statler, but like also that one explosion of emotion that Orange Cassidy had, like.
Oh yeah, that was a great moment. Dude. That was really fun. Yeah,
that made my list. I put it on my list. I was like, I don't care if it lasted like 2 seconds. I gotta mention the fact that for once, Orange Cassidy showed emotion.
He tried. Oh, and the pop he got for that too. It was awesome. That crowd, I love that crowd. If I could have that Chicago crowd just following me around everywhere, I feel like I'm on top of the world all day.
No, that was great. And you know what? I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I said I wasn't like too big on Statlander. I liked her as a wrestler, but I wasn't too sold on her gimmick. I'm still not sold on her gimmick, but here's the thing. Had I done my stupid list today, she would also be on my list alongside Eddie Kingston because, god damn, she's amazing. Did you see when she slipped on the top rope and somehow still managed to get the strength to pick up Britt Baker? How?
Dude, I mean, like Excalibur said, man, it's just the strength. No, it was Excalibur. Someone mentioned that he had the strength of an alien because she's an alien. Oh no, that was on that AEW ups and downs. Sorry.
Oh.
It was Simon Miller. Yeah, it was Simon Miller referring her the strength of an alien.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, and look, she lost the match, but I think she kicked out of like 2 or 3 finishing moves. She did not go down easy. And Britt Baker actually landed the Panama Sunrise, which they call the Pittsburgh Sunrise, which of course is the signature move of her husband, Adam Cole. So that was a nice touch. And of course, she won it with the lockjaw. But all in all, I thought that this was actually a really good match. I think all of the matches exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
And that is not something that happens at pay-per-views. There's usually some kind of dud dragging things down. And like our dud was only a dud because it was a squash match on a pay-per-view, which I mean, if that's your dud, like, damn.
Exactly. I mean, so I want to point out my highlight of that night. It has to be my marriage being saved.
Oh yes, both of our marriages and our televisions are safe.
Yeah, because the
Lucha Brothers won. Oh man, are we going to talk about how he got blood all over his daughter?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Before we get to the blood, we have to talk about the entrance. That was incredible. Again,
an incredible entrance.
The Aztec headgear, so good. So good.
That to me made the match seem bigger than it. I mean, it was already a big deal, but an even bigger deal. Like having the rapper come out, it's like a big, huge show, and putting them in the spotlight, and then them referring to themselves as the Mexican Kings, having the like the costumes.
The headdresses, the varsity jackets.
The entire presentation, it's like your character, your persona, like the entrance is so important to a wrestler because it's sort of like the first impression.
Mexicans in Chicago.
Yeah, it's like the first impression, especially if you're a first-time viewer, if you've never seen the Lucha Brothers before, and they walk out like this, they look bigger than their competition.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was actually surprised at how big they came out compared to the Young Bucks, because after seeing the entrance of like the Lucha Bros, I was like, well, how is the Young Bucks going to top this? And they just come out as they usually normally do.
Well, not usually. They were wearing like some really weird like fake mustaches and beards.
Oh no, that's all his real hair.
No, yep. No,
it looks like that because it's a bad bleach job.
Yeah, I mean that's his real facial hair.
He colored his own facial hair 2 different colors.
Is this a rib on Hulk Hogan, by the way? The handlebar?
That's what I was thinking when I saw it. That's the only explanation I could come up with.
Yeah. That's
other than Nick is just hilarious and has been given the okay to sacrifice his hair and his facial hair by his wife. I don't know.
So there are 3 moments in this match that made my list, one of which was the entrance. And I had to give a big shout out to the Canadian Destroyer from the top rope.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that was amazing, but like Matt Jackson landed rough though.
He did.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
Of course, there was also the ending, which made my list because Rey Fenix is a daredevil and flew off the top rope, which was
My
insane.
husband was so nervous because the Lucha Brothers are his favorite tag team. Rey Fenix is his favorite wrestler. He is sick of the Bucks. He needed the win. And just every false finish, he was like losing his mind. I was like, baby. Stop stressing. We all know it's not really over until Rey Fenix jumps off the top of the cage.
Oh my god! You should.
I was sweating bullets. I wish you told me that.
Oh my god! You should have.
I mean, it was so obvious to me. It's like it's a giant cage. Even Cody Rhodes did a bloody moonsault off the freaking thing. You're gonna keep Rey Fenix off of it? No way.
I don't know because they all look so beat up. Like I wrote this in my list of the best moments. I love the transition to the quote unquote Buster Keaton like dance with all 4 men caught in a 4-way exchange of repeated slaps and super kicks.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Look, when he went on top of the cage, at first I thought like he was going to jump, but then he looked like he changed his mind, and then he looked like, okay, no, I'm going to actually jump. Like for a split second, it looked like he was going to climb down again.
I guess he was waiting for the guys down there to get ready.
Yeah, because I think Nick had climbed up after him, and then he had to get kicked down, and then he could go for the splash. But
yeah, I mean, like I just want to mention like the moment. I mean, like it was stressful for me too watching this match because like there was a point where Matt Jackson took out the Jordans there with the thumbtacks and just cursing them off.
I mean, Brandon Cutler obviously gets a lot of flack for being Brandon Cutler. He managed to throw that thing over the cage.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I'm sorry, but like that should have gone really badly.
I honestly thought the same thing too. I was like, I know he's just throwing a bag, but
I couldn't have made that shot.
I've been in a position many times where I had to throw something over like the fence at the tennis court.
Right.
Like the ball never goes over. I always hit the cage.
Yeah.
And that's just a tennis ball, right?
Yeah.
This guy threw a shoe.
Well, it's not a shoe. It's a bag of shoes.
It's a big bag.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone place nails or thumbtacks in the bottom of like a shoe. Use it in a
apparently that was a bit they had used before with a boot at an indie show they did with I mean someone else referenced the entire thing, but if you want to check it out. But that was one thing I did appreciate. If you guys saw BTE today, they included a tiny behind the scenes clip of the person having to individually glue every thumbtack onto the sole of that shoe. And I just like that they gave us like that split second insight into what actually goes into making.
I'll have to check it out.
Thumbtack shoe.
I'll have to check that out. I only saw like the seance moment.
Okay. Yeah, that was quite great.
Yeah, I mean, look, this match is on my list of best matches of the year.
Yeah, I feel
one of the better cage matches of all time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna say like it might be one of the best cage matches I've seen.
Yeah, but I still think the crossbody from the top of the cage was impressive, but I still think what Cody did was a bit more impressive.
Well, because he did a moonsault.
And there was only one guy to catch him. That was honestly what Cody did was crazy.
Yeah, I mean he did a moonsault and he blew up his kneecap.
is the size of the AEW cages the size of the Hell in the Cell in WWE?
It's bigger. This is taller.
Way
considerably taller. Yeah.
So here's the crazy thing. So the leap from the top of the cage, it's only number 5 on my list of best moments. Like, how insane is that for a pay-per-view event?
Dude, that's pretty insane. I'd imagine.
I should just mention that I did, Mariko, you mentioned this. I did also put the moment in which they actually win the championship belts because...
Oh, yes.
I mean, everyone was like over the moon, and it was really, really sweet to see the emotion.
Somehow, the two guys with the masks are the guys who got color. I was so nervous for Penta at some points because I'm like, he literally can't see.
Yeah,
like the blood is all over his face. He's wearing contacts, which are getting blood on them. I'm just like, how is he still doing this?
Yeah, I know. There was a couple like close-up shots to his face. I'm like, oh my god! Like, it was pretty brutal to watch. Like, some moments.
Yeah, but still, the ending when you see him reunite with his family, with his daughters.
I really had mixed feelings about that, to be honest. But I mean, I'm not a parent, so like, whatever. You want to get blood on your kids? That's your, that's your prerogative.
Yeah. Well, I feel like next we should talk about the Chris Jericho and MJF fight. Chris Jericho is still gonna wrestle in AEW, so that's an up. Another up in there was the entrance of MJF. That was a big up.
Dude, that made my list, but I'm not happy about it. Like, I was so pissed off because when I saw that entrance, I thought we were going to get something similar to the Y2J entrance from Monday Night Raw.
You, Mark.
I was in.
Oh, come on! You knew that was MJF pulling a swerve.
I knew it wasn't going to be Jericho.
Oh man!
I thought for sure it was going to be Jericho.
I mean, like, if it was Jericho, I would have been like, "That's amazing." But then when MJF came out, I'm like, "You dick!" But that's fucking brilliant.
Dude, I was so angry. Like,
I was laughing. I'm clapping.
I popped so many times during this pay-per-view event, but that was the biggest pop. Period.
Oh man.
I just went nuts. I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing Y2J!" Like, and then MJF walks out. I was like, "Man, what a piece of shit!"
That was awesome.
This match, I think, is incredible. I really, really dig this match. I was blown away. Again, exceeded my expectations. I love the ending, even though normally I would not like that ending because
you wouldn't. I mean, it was a great swerve.
No, because I think that if the match has two officials, right, for whatever reason, it makes sense. But the thing is, if you're going to have a referee just reverse a decision, and then you could do that with every match.
Kind of expecting them to do like an instant replay thing and like waste another like 3 minutes and draw out the segment. I'm kind of glad they didn't because we all knew it was pantomime anyways. So it didn't bother me that much.
It did not bug me. I'm just saying normally it would bug me. But the reason why I thought it was amazing was because the stakes could not have been higher for Chris Jericho unless you kill the guy. Because he's going to retire. Or not retire. He's never going to be able to wrestle again in AEW. So the stakes are raised to the max. And so here's the thing. By having MJF technically win, we now know how it feels like to watch a match where MJF forces Jericho to retire. Because for about 1 to 2 minutes, we felt it. And it felt terrible. I felt so bad. It was so sad. And then the referee walks out. He speaks to Edwards. He tells her like, "Hey, his foot was on the rope," and they restart the match. But for that 1 minute, that for like about a minute or so, I really thought Jericho was done for.
No, there's no. I mean, like there's no way you could say he was done for because his foot was clearly on the rope. So.
Yeah, but she counted to 3. It doesn't matter. She rang the bell. He won. MJF won the match. You know what they always say, Aaron? It's what the referee sees.
Yeah, and great job for Audrey Edwards too, because she looked really disappointed as well that she counted that 3.
Oh yeah, she was sad.
Yeah, so it was a great part on her.
I thought it was brilliant. Like, honest to God, like, this is something that I don't think AEW will ever do ever again. And if they do it, it's going to be a long time from now.
Yeah.
But they chose to do this at the right moment. Whereas, like, WWE has done this plenty of times in the past, and way too many times that it became kind of like silly.
Mm-hmm.
But here, like,
it's the first time, and the stakes were just high enough that it really pushed things over the edge as far as, like, you know, the suspense and whatnot.
Also, just because they restarted a match didn't mean that MJF would still lose. Like, I still thought that there was a chance that he would still win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it gave enough time for Chris Jericho to recover. I mean, I think that was also the story of that scenario.
I thought it was amazing. I think that overall, this is like my favorite match of the night. I know a lot of people are going to say I'm crazy, but no, I just thought the stakes were so high compared to the rest of the matches, and the finish was so pitch perfect. And MJF sold it. He's fantastic. And then you had the big swerve at the beginning with the entrance, like from start to finish. This match was excellent.
Dude, I just wanted to talk about a spot with MJF. I mean, that superplex where I thought, like, my God, did he like destroy his tailbone or something? Because the way he screamed, I'm like, that sounded like it legitimately hurt. So
for sure. Yeah. Speaking of referees, really quick, we did not talk about this, but during the Miro match.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, Bryce Remsburg turning heel.
Yeah.
Not really, but I know, but that's what people were saying.
Well, I said it, and I said it because people were throwing things at him.
But apparently, from what I read, there's a bit of a storytelling going on too, because apparently this is not the first time that Bryce Remsburg has screwed Eddie Kingston in the
he and Eddie Kingston have beef.
Mm-hmm.
That's previously been established. So I figured that would all kind of lead into this, and so we get a rematch in New York.
Yeah, I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah,
because he screwed him over twice.
I really want Kingston to have a belt for a little while. I don't know. I mean, this belt makes the most sense. I don't want to take it off Miro ever. But you got to at some point. And I mean, if you're going to put it on Kingston, you have to do it in New York. So
100%.
Oh,
that's where I think this is going.
Not even think about that.
Yeah, that's where I think this is going. That's why I think they got Remsburg involved in the angle.
That made my list of great moments. And again, people think I'm crazy when I put that on my list, but no, I mean, you just made it even more clear that it should be on my list. This is a great storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing about this pay-per-view was the level of storytelling.
Yeah. Everything that happens in the ring, like just the
you know, even the weird finishes and everything, they were done in such a way where you weren't like, oh, that was a weird finish. It was more like, wow, we've never seen this before. How's this going to affect things moving forward?
Well, exactly.
You know, they seemed interesting and exciting, not like we're getting fucked with.
Yeah. I mean, like everything that happened in the ring had a purpose. You know, it's not just doing a bunch of moves just to look cool, but like everything was leading up to something. And I thought it was amazing.
You know, Aaron, I just watched The Suicide Squad twice, and I learned something from that movie. We all have a purpose.
Was that really used in the movie? I haven't watched the movie.
Oh, it's so good. Watch it. I watched it twice in one day. We reviewed it today on the Sorted Cinema podcast. Cheap plug.
Yeah.
Holy cow, this pay-per-view is amazing. Like, I'm just looking at the next match, and it's CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I know we touched on it during the first segment, but to just be a bit more positive, I do think Darby Allin stole the show here. I mean, CM Punk was good, but I think Darby Allin was just fantastic. Like, his swanton from the top rope outside the ring, holy shit.
Yeah, but Punk kept up with him, which, I mean, really was the question for all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
And he did. It made me so happy. It turned into a great match. I didn't know who to root for. It just, you know, okay, there's no story going into it. So, you know, the stakes weren't clear. There weren't really any. But I think really the stake was, can Phil still go? Answer, yes.
Yeah, for sure. Like my whole issue, and I mean I said this earlier, so I won't stretch this out too long, but I just think it should have been before the Chris Jericho match in terms of pacing out the pay-per-view event. But CM Punk, he was on Dark, and on the commentary booth, he told Taz that one thing he still has is cardio.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't worried about his cardio. He was worried about, maybe hurting himself, but not about the cardio. CM Punk, when he did his taunts and he would tease Darby Allin and just the way he would react to the crowd and talk to the crowd and
oh, his ability to work with a crowd. Holy shit.
It shows just how much better he is compared to almost everyone, if not everyone on the roster. And that's not a diss to anyone, because like CM Punk is like, I mean, Britt Baker is as good as he is when it comes to addressing a crowd. Like when she walks out, she is a star. Like CM Punk.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I do like this match. It is what it is, right? Like there was no big surprise for me here.
No, there was no big surprise. I mean, the only big surprise for me in the CM Punk and Darby Allin match was how much back and forth there was. I was really expecting it to be almost one-sided, maybe to like CM Punk's favor, but
no, all of the reversals and the switchbacks and
exactly. I mean, like I was surprised how much he let Darby Allin do his spots or like his moves or like some big moves, because
I'm not at all, because he said that's the guy he wants to be now. Is the guy who gives everything to the other guy coming up. And I thought that match was a fantastic aspect or example of that. I mean, everybody came out of it looking like $1 million.
Yeah.
We answered all the questions we had going into the match. I was just blown away, honestly. Like, I didn't know what to expect, but I was nervous as hell. Like I said, I'm not even that huge a CM Punk fan, but I am now.
Yeah.
I really am now.
Me too. Like, I'm a fan of CM Punk, but I'm not a diehard fan like everyone else. But I gotta say,
I get that, and for me, it's a little different because being a hardcore wrestling fan is honestly very, very new to me. So, Summer of Punk. This is my first Summer of Punk.
Usually, I would not complain about this because usually it's the complete reverse. But man, he looks way better in trunks, not tights.
I was surprised. I was expecting him.
It took a while for me to get used to him wearing pants. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. But we know how I feel about man thighs, so maybe
a lot of times I would say the reverse. I'm like, this dude should be wearing pants because he doesn't really look good in trunks. But in this case, I was like, no, this guy like really looks good in the trunks, and it just like it was weird. I didn't really like his tights at all, to be honest.
Well, I mean, like it is. I read somewhere that was a callback to like his indie wrestling days. I mean, he wore those. He didn't wear those specific pants, but he was a pants guy before WWE.
Yeah. Before we get to the last match, just to quickly mention that one thing I mentioned, I think it was last week, I was like, there's a lot of stars missing from the pay-per-view, but they actually made a cameo appearance. Like the Inner Circle showed up. We had the big 10-man match at the start. We had Blade and the Butcher back again. We had the video package by Malachi Black. The only person who was really missing was Cody.
Yep. Well, and Hangman, but those are the two guys who are taking time off right now. So
yeah.
So on to the main event.
It was good.
It was great. I actually was again surprised. I thought it exceeded my expectations because I'm talking about the actual match here, not what happened post match.
The after stuff.
Because, man, do you remember when we were really harsh on Christian Cage?
Yes. He came a long way.
And now Christian Cage is wrestling some of the best matches on not only the pay-per-view event, but on Rampage and on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Now, it was no big surprise that he was going to lose. I didn't think he would beat Kenny twice.
No.
But there was a lot of table spots.
Oh, that really scary one where the
Yeah.
leg almost impaled him in the side. Oh,
that was gross.
Yeah.
And he did lose via the one-winged angel off the top rope. So it's not like he went down easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really complain about this match. It was a little long, to be honest. It was the longest match of all the matches.
Yeah, it kind of needed to be, though, because it was a championship match and it was closing out the show.
It was 21 minutes and 20 seconds, and the Battle Royale was 22 minutes.
Yeah. For some reason, those women ones, also because it wasn't meant to be part of the main show, but I feel like the fight for the Impact belt was maybe just a little bit better for me, but it was still a fantastic match, and again, like probably the second best match Christian's done in AEW. So
yeah, for sure. I think that first match with him and Kenny was way better.
Yeah, because I think the near falls. I mean, there's certainly a lot more near falls in that first match, which made it more dramatic. I mean, this one kind of. I mean, like it there was still some good back and forth, but there was not much like these high stakes near falls like as the first one did.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that first match also had a way better finish, not just because Christian Cage won, but I just like the whole Young Bucks screwing over Kenny.
Exactly.
And just quickly looking at the times here, like just to once again defend the Paul White match. The Paul White match only lasted 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It felt longer than 3, but anyway,
3 minutes, dude.
It was
just enough time to go get your popcorn and beer.
Right? Yep, exactly. Which is exactly what I did, by the way.
I think right before the match ended, I was on Facebook and I was talking to you guys, and I was like, guys, I don't think Adam Cole's going to show up. I don't think Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson's going to show up. I'm like, nah, it's just going to end. It's going to end. Kenny's going to win, and it's going to be in New York, right? It's going to be no. I was completely wrong. Man, when Adam Cole showed up, I lost my mind. And like the thing is, it was sort of like I don't know if you guys would call it a swerve, but I thought for sure he was going to turn on the Young Bucks and Kenny.
Yeah,
there was no way.
Because they were making all the jokes about how Kenny killed him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there was a clue, Ricky. There was a clue as to which side he was on. If you looked at his shoes, you would have noticed he was wearing Jordans.
I did not look at his shoes. I need to start watching these wrestlers' shoes.
I thought it was maybe like the T-shirt he was wearing.
What, All Elite?
His own T-shirt?
I don't know. I thought maybe he had something written on his T-shirt. I know his T-shirt said All Elite, but that just means he's part of the company.
I mean, I didn't catch it when I was watching it, but watching other recaps, people were pointing out the fact that, like, yes, he's wearing Jordans, and so that's why they weren't surprised that he kicked him.
But when he gets to the ring and he cuts his promo and he gets on the microphone, the way the crowd reacted.
Oh my God. Commanding them. Speaking of guys who know how to work a crowd.
I don't understand why he never made it to the main roster in WWE. Like he can control the crowd. He's like the puppet master.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that with a lot of wrestlers in NXT, but anyway.
I know, but the thing is, a lot of wrestlers in NXT are not as talented as him, both in the ring and on the mic.
No?
Like he takes it to another level.
I agree.
That doesn't matter to the person who calls the shots. He doesn't, quote unquote, look like a wrestler.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah, and the same thing with Ruby Soho. A certain 70-year-old, or probably collection of 70-year-olds, decided that she wasn't fuckable, and so she never got pushed. I'm sorry, but that has to be the reason, because I can't come up with another one.
Yeah, I mean they kept Liv Morgan, but anyway.
Yeah.
So,
like I said this last week or the week before on the podcast, I'm excited for CM Punk in AEW because of what it does for wrestling as a whole, and that not just AEW but as a whole, right? And so that's a positive. Like if you're a wrestling fan, you want wrestling to improve and get better. But in terms of like who I'm interested in has like, like my favorite wrestlers, for example, Adam Cole is someone I would prefer to see in the ring. Like if I had to like buy tickets and I can only see CM Punk and or Adam Cole, I would say like I want to see Adam Cole because I've never actually seen him live. In my rankings, which we should talk about in the next podcast, like I did put CM Punk really high, but that's because of the star power. Like you can't deny the fact that the guy sold out the Chicago arena based on a rumor that he might show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, super, super happy Adam Cole showed up.
Yeah. I mean, just again, more friends for the Elite. I love it.
Yeah, and the storyline possibilities too. But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like he shows up, he kicks Jungle Boy in the face. And we're like, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess Bryan Danielson's gonna debut in New York. Okay, cool. And then it's oh wait, but he's a heel. But oh no, there's too many heels. Da da da. Yeah. Oh my god!
Yeah, when I heard Flight of the Valkyrie, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, because I was looking at my husband, just like Flight of the Valkyries or Final Countdown. Flight of the Valkyries.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. A lot of people were expecting Final Countdown, but
I thought they would go with it, but the trap remix of Valkyries was pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I mean, in our group chat, I was saying that like I expected maybe Daniel Bryan to make it because like because the match because like the rumor was that Bryan Danielson was going to show up for the New York event.
But the reason why I thought he wasn't going to show up, even after we saw Adam Cole, like a part of me was like, okay, they're beating up Christian, Jungle Boy. Someone's got to help. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the Elite, beats them up and we close off the show. But it's because Tony Khan said that at the New York show at the tennis arena, someone's going to show up. There's someone's going to appear for the first time.
See, that's intriguing too now because now that Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole has shown up, so who is the mystery?
Bray Wyatt, I guess.
It's entirely possible. I mean, Lana still hasn't made an appearance, or
no,
CJ.
She hasn't. It's true. She could. It would make a lot of sense too. So, look, this is my number one moment of the night. Bryan Danielson is All Elite. Number one moment. It blew me away. Dude, solidify the fact that this is one of the greatest pay-per-view events of all time. Some people claim it's the best ever.
It's up there, and it's for me, I think maybe one or two for.
You see, I would put it on my top three. It's just a matter of there's some I've actually seen live. There's some I've seen with a big crowd. It's maybe number two, if not number one. But here's my question: if someone does show up in New York, right? And let's say it's Bray Wyatt, let's say it's Lana, like who knows? Is this too many people in such a short span of time?
I don't think so. I mean,
I kind of don't want any more additions until like the end of the year.
For real,
there's
me too.
So many people, like we don't even know what storyline CM Punk's going to be in.
Right.
Adam Cole, there's people on hiatus who need to come back that need to get slotted into storylines. So, as exciting as this all is, I really don't want any more debuts. I think this is a very good rounded out roster now. And I think they need some time to get those storylines rolling before we start bringing in new names, because it's just going to start to feel bloated.
I agree. And, I'm not saying I don't want to see Bray Wyatt in AEW, but he's got lots of money, man. Go take a long vacation, go like chill in the Bahamas, and then make an appearance in 2022 when no one expects it. Because the roster is too bloated right now.
I wouldn't say that it's bloated, but it is.
It's getting bigger.
Is full.
Yeah, it's like I could see like your guys' argument.
It's pleasantly plump.
Yeah. It's just that the feel good moments of seeing these guys, like new wrestlers coming in and huge talents coming in. I mean, it's just, for me, it's like I don't want it to end like that butterfly feeling when you're seeing like these guys coming in for the first time. I don't know, but that's just me though.
No, I mean, look, if Bray Wyatt shows up in New York, I'm going to go apeshit crazy. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, I think it might be smart to space it out. I mean, we just got CM Punk. Mm-hmm. Now we have Adam Cole.
And
Danielson. Yeah.
Ruby Soho. I mean, there's a lot of new additions here. Jamie Hayter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and there's people that were introduced a little bit earlier that we're still trying to work into things. So
mm-hmm.
I still do not think they should be doing some kind of crazy crossover with Impact. Like, no offense, but it just seems like such because like not enough people watch Impact that there's not enough of a return. Tony Khan's being super nice, but what if like you send over Christian Cage to Impact and he gets injured? What if Kenny Omega got injured? Like, do you know how that was screwed up so many storylines moving forward?
I know, but by the same token, he could get injured at AEW. Like, it's one extra match a week. Like, I don't know.
New Japan makes sense to me because it has that worldwide appeal. Like, you want AEW to be bigger, not just in the United States of America or not just in North America. Yeah, so it makes sense to have star power. Like, they have, what is the name of the guy from India who's always on Dark?
Johan?
Yeah. Is that how you pronounce his name? He's not officially signed yet, but having like stars like that from around the world, like it helps AEW, like it helps put AEW on the map, like worldwide, right? Yeah. So I think like having like guys from New Japan show up is really cool, but I don't know. Like, I don't have anything personal against like Impact, but I'm not sold on the crossover. Like, and also it's too hard for me to keep up with all of this wrestling.
Well, but just to talk about like the Impact thing. I mean, like I haven't followed too much Impact. I still keep a finger on the pulse, like for little things that happen. But Impact and AEW so far has been in their own domain. I mean, the only times that they've had crossover was really just for Christian Cage at this point.
Yeah. Well, there was a few more things, but not it wasn't really big.
It's
right?
not like, big. Yeah. I mean, I feel like they should explore more with New Japan than they should with Impact, but
I wouldn't be surprised if SmackDown benefits from Rampage being on Fridays, because I started watching SmackDown live because of Rampage. Like, I basically sit around, wait for Rampage. I'm like, well, I can play video games, I can work on the website, or I can watch SmackDown. So usually I watch SmackDown while working on the website. I multitask. And I was like, wow, I'm actually watching SmackDown because of AEW.
Xia Li made her debut. I haven't watched it yet.
I would actually pay like money every month to be able to watch Dynamite and Rampage without commercials and get the pay-per-view events also. Like if Tony Khan was like, hey, $35 a month, I would be
streaming service. Sure.
Because the thing is, it doesn't maybe make sense for most people because there's only 4 pay-per-view events per year, and that's usually where you spend the most money. But if they can find a package where it's like, okay, if each pay-per-view event's going to cost me like 30, 40, 50 bucks, whatever it is, and then, sort of like give me a discount on my pay-per-view events and let me pay monthly so I watch Dynamite without commercials. Because watching Rampage without commercials has been incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I do agree.
Except when they screw up the feeds and we get the American commercials, which is always hilarious.
That only happened to me one time.
Yeah. No, I think that was a genuine screw up. Yeah. So I don't see it happening again.
Man, this pay-per-view rocked. I'm so happy to be watching AEW. I'm so happy to be a wrestling fan. I'll be interested to see the ratings. I don't really care what the ratings are at this point in time. If you're not watching AEW, well, first of all, you're not listening to this podcast, but you're missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what the numbers were for the buy for this.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very interested. Because I feel like it was the first pay-per-view for a lot of AEW pay-per-view for a lot of people just tuning in to see Punk.
Yeah.
And, maybe see Bryan Danielson debut at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And, it sounds like a lot of those people are converts. So, way to go. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. People just being like, whoa, where has this been? Like, why haven't I been watching this?
Yeah. I'm really curious to see like what's going to be like the turnaround.
We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next show because we're going to be doing Dynamite and Rampage and whatever fallout we have from this incredible pay-per-view event. Whatever news comes out, it's going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that does it for the podcast tonight. I would very much like to thank my co-host, Mr. Aaron Santos.
No problemo.
And of course, the ravishing Ricky D.
Just a reminder, you can find the podcast over at our website. Head over to goombastomp.com. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. All the links are over at goombastomp.com. Check the podcast section. Check the wrestling section. Follow us on Twitter, Talk AEW Podcast. And I guess that's about it.
Goodbye.
The only thing I've got left to do is what I do best, and that's send the crowd home happy. So without any further ado, I must bid you goodbye and good night.
Bedroom wall, how a party up next door.